What is up, Tampa Bay? Good evening. We are excited to be with y'all. I'm hanging out with the hostess with the mostest. Y'all know who it is, Miss Stacy Amon up in Pasco County. What's up, Stacy?
Good evening, everyone. Happy to be here on a Tuesday evening.
And we are happy to have you. Happy to be with you, of course. Stacy is our rock star. And y'all, we got some really interesting stuff happening today. There are rumors of a Trader Joe's, dun dun dun, the second location in Tampa. We shall see. We'll get into that. And we're going to cover the cost of living because there's been another article that just came out that said life is expensive. I don't know if anybody knew that.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. You know, Stacy,
Sure
they
that's not
update
fake
us.
news?
Oh, I know they update us with these articles, and I'm like, wow, that's a shock. No, it's not really. But we're going to get into that this evening. Happy to be with you guys. If we've never met before, my name is Juan Alcalá. We make videos that are all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here. Now, our Tampa Bay Q&As are live and interactive. If you're watching this on YouTube or any of the streaming sources, you're going to be able to connect with the community here. And I think that honestly, that's one of the best parts, if not the best part, besides Stacy, of course, when it comes to these live Q&As. And we're here to take your questions. So we want to encourage you, number one, let us know where you're watching from. If you have questions about moving to the area or anything happening in the area, if you are local and you know of something happening, feel free to share that in the comments. We'll bring you bring that comment up, talk through it as a community here. But what I want you to take away from this is like we're welcoming you into this conversation. So happy to be with you guys tonight. We're going to get into these news articles right away. But before we do, I want to say hello to everybody who's watching. Because like I said, this is one of my favorite parts. And forgive me for looking off screen, but I got to read these great comments here. We got people from all over the country who watch us live. We got Kevin Hawthorne out in Lakeland. Good evening, Kevin. Good to see you, my friend. Stacy, the one and only.
Jane, she's back.
That's right. Miss Jane's out packing, getting it done on the West Coast. Good evening. Good evening. Love that. Keith says, happy Taco Tuesday. Keith's coming to us from Indiana, if I remember correctly. Pretty sure it's Indianapolis, right, Stacey? Somewhere in that area?
I don't remember.
Maybe we're wrong, but I feel like that is. Correct me if I'm wrong, Keith. You know the deal. Not afraid to make the mistake. We got Miss Danielle in the house. She said, hey, y'all, from Northeast Ohio. Special hello to Stacy.
Hello, Danielle. She's coming in a few weeks. Getting her itinerary ready to go.
I love it.
Very
exciting.
Love it.
And I definitely love when you get the special shout out too. That's very nice. Love it. All right. Carol says hello from SoCal. Good to see you guys. It is good to see you as well, Carol. What do we got here? Daniel says, good luck, Jane. You got this. Jonathan says, salute. Love that, sir. Good evening. We got fingers crossed for Jane. Love it. Mr. Kemp, good evening, sir. Good to see you as well. Happy to be with y'all. We got a local Largo resident. Jonathan's in the house. Also, shout out to my Largo people. I am in Largo, Florida right now. I know it says I'm in Tampa, but I'm technically in Largo. I'm actually in the church studio, and I'm on my last probably week here, y'all. So I know Stacy has been in the new office recently. Well, it's the new old office. And if you guys are like, what is Juan talking about? My home flooded. Well, let me rephrase this. My home got wet from Hurricane Milton. I want to make sure that I take a step back. My house is 43 feet above sea level. We did not get that kind of storm surge. So I don't want anybody anxious about that. But we did get like 12 inches of rain overnight, and it was more than my little yard could take. So my house got wet, and we have been, my wife and I are currently sleeping in the honeymoon suite on the lawn in the camper still, while my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and the kids are enjoying this beautiful new home that we've renovated. So that's where we're at today. So that is where we're at with that, and happy to be with you guys. Happy to make the connect. He said, good evening from Southfield. Shout out to Southfield. We were just talking to family from Southfield last night too. It was great. Stacy's learning a lot about Michigan because so many people from that area reach out to me. She's like, I could see it in her eyes. She's like, oh, we're relating these to these cities, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Charles, good evening, sir. He says, good evening from Maryland. Love that. Okay, there we go. This is a good question. We're getting questions right out of the. I'll tell you what, Charles. Let me come back to this because I want to say hello to everyone first, and then we will get to your question first. So, Stacy, don't let me lose sight of this because I want to get into this conversation with Charles for sure. All right, and then last but not least, good evening, Danielle. Shout out to Pittsburgh Pirates. Yar, you guys got a quarterback yet? I don't think you guys got a quarterback for the Steelers yet, but what do I know? You're welcome, sir. We'll get into that. All right, let's get into some news because we've got some exciting stuff happening around town. It is just a rumor. I just want everybody to know. It is just a rumor. However, just the rumor of a second Trader Joe's location in Tampa has got the entire city in an uproar, and for good reason too, Stacy. I mean, how many Zoom calls are we on with clients or people looking to relocate to the area, and if you had to give a percentage, what would you say ask for Trader Joe's?
75%.
Wow. Okay, that was more than I thought. I thought we were somewhere between like 50 and 60, but it's a lot, y'all.
Yeah.
To Stacy's point, a lot of you love Trader Joe's, and a lot of people here do too. Now we have some great grocers here. We've got Whole Foods, we've got Sprouts, we've got the Fresh Market, which is another kind of competitor in that area. In our personal opinion, I think Sprouts is the better option of those. Whole Foods is wonderful, but if you don't have access to it, like we don't, I have to drive all the way to Clearwater, so we don't go there. But Sprouts is great. We get grass-fed steaks there. Everything's organic. They've got good, ready-to-eat stuff if you want. They're really good opportunities there, so it's good. But people love Trader Joe's. It's like it's almost like a cult following, like Apple.
Or did we?
Am I wrong? Am I wrong on this?
No, you are not
right?
wrong.
Yeah, like it's crazy to me. Like people are fired up. So while the group that is hunting for it did say that they were actively searching, there is no actual evidence that they locked something up. But there is a local real estate insider, not this one, by the way, who says that somebody may be actively pursuing that. So again, this is in the rumor mill, but it's Trader Joe's, so we got to talk about it.
So it could be like the north side of Tampa, like Wesley Chapel area, maybe.
It could be, and well, that's not Tampa. This is Tampa proper, is what they're referring to. But you got there's the one in South Tampa, right? So it says we're actively looking at hundreds of neighborhoods across the country, and yes, Tampa's on the list. So when they asked about this, there wasn't a whole lot they would not give any insights on it. But I think it's important to discuss just because, again, so many people care about Trader Joe's. I figured I'd bring that to you. So while we're on the topic of not inexpensive groceries, the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight is there was another article that said life was expensive, Stacy, again, and I see this article has been basically posted every quarter for the last 4 years, as far as I'm concerned, the last 2.5 for sure. And we can kind of get into the weeds of I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, but I will say this, that there's some cool numbers on this that I think give perspective to this, because the cost of survival in the area, Stacy, is the one that shocked me. And if, I know what it costs to live here because I live here. All right. I know what happens when my in-laws come. They definitely say that our groceries cost more, which I agree, because we travel back and forth to Michigan all the time. But I've also been to the West Coast where gasoline costs $3 more than we pay. Right. So like you're just all over the place with this stuff. But it says many Tampa Bay families need over $100K annually as the cost of living soars. A new report reveals. I'm wondering where the new report is. So it's a United Way released its latest report on the financial strains of residents in Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, and Sarasota Manatee. I don't know what is happening here. Sarasota Manatee. And it zooms in on the difficulties, and it gets into the weeds here. But the thing I wanted to show you guys ultimately was what it said these budgets were. So across 5 counties, the average household survival budget in 2023 rose to $96,500 $516, an 8% increase from 2022. Sarasota County had the largest increase at 10%. This falls far above the statewide average, highlighted the significant cost of living demands in Tampa Bay. So let's get into some of these numbers here. And I won't get in the weeds particularly about some of these things, but the way that it's positioned in conversation made me laugh, Stacy. Not because it's, when I say it made me laugh, it's because the way it's typical newspaper, if it bleeds, it leads kind of thing, right? So I don't think it's funny if you're struggling. That's not the thing. Been there, done that, like Dre, know all about it. But Hillsborough County, where Tampa proper is, y'all, it says the survival budget, Stacy, needed is $96,744. Now that seems like a pretty strong term for me. And then what it says is the median income for a household here is $76,787. So Alice households, Alice is the acronym they use for households that fall below the required necessary income to survive, is 32%. So 46% of households live below the Alice threshold. Now, Stacy, I don't know about you, but most of the people in America don't make that kind of money, right? That's the stats. Now, I know a lot of families in Tampa do make that kind of money because, you know, we've attracted more in Florida specifically, and counties like Pasco and other counties have attracted more high income earners over the last 4 years than a lot of other places in the country. There was an article I read last year on Live where it said that Pasco County attracted more people earning $200,000 annually than any other county in the country. Now that's shifted, but that happened last year. So it's fascinating when you read through that stuff. So there's definitely a pretty large delta there. But man, a survival budget of $96,000, that seems pretty strong to me. What do you say? Like, I mean, you've got kids that just got out of college that are. I mean, I'm not asking you to disclose what they make, of course,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like survival, that seems like a strong word.
Well, is that for one? Is that for two? A family of four? Like, what is it? Family of four?
Yep. Yeah. And it didn't get into the family size, right? It said, well, here it goes. Yeah, family of four. So my bad, guys, sorry, I read it earlier. For a family of four with an infant and a preschooler, the Alice household survival budget, which includes housing, childcare, food, transportation, healthcare, and basic smartphone plan, which I don't know anybody that has that.
That's the child care.
Yeah.
For an infant and a toddler?
Right. Stood at more than $86,000. In comparison, the federal poverty threshold is $30,000. Yeah, I mean, we've heard some of the numbers for childcare, like half of a mortgage payment, like $1,500, some wild stuff, right? So like, yeah, I could see that if they're including that into the budget for sure. Pinellas County, where I live, this is the Clearwater St. Pete area. So if you're not familiar with the area, 108,000 is the survival. And I know we got comments, so we're going to get into those, guys. Bear with me. 108,000 is survival. Median income is 70,000, and the Alice households is 46%. Again, Sarasota County, 104. So that's going to be Sarasota, as you guys are aware. And their survival budget there, 104, median income 77. And then you get down into Manatee County, think Bradenton Parish. That's what's in Manatee specifically. You're looking at 95,000 again. The median income is higher there at 79,000 and 42% of the households. And then they went to DeSoto County. Not quite sure why we ended up in DeSoto County.
Yeah.
That seems weird to me when Pasco's not on the list. And I think they didn't put Pasco on the list because Pasco is very affluent. So I think that's why I didn't make it. And as I discussed with you guys, there's people making really good incomes in Pasco, but I thought that was an interesting thing to bring up to y'all because so many people always have questions about what is the cost of living in the area. And when it comes to Tampa, for me, it's always easy to do the math. The median household purchase price, which is right around $400,000 in Tampa, you have to make at least a quarter of that to be able to buy a house, right? That's the reality of it. You know, the mortgage companies want to see you earn at least half of that, a quarter in income, and have a fairly low debt threshold at that point too. So that basically says you would need to make $100,000 anywhere where the median sales price is $400,000, and the United States median home price is 400 grand. So that's why, like, I know this is specific to Tampa, but I know we're not alone on this, y'all. Right, because that's the median sales price across the country. So I thought that was very interesting. Let me get into some of the comments on this before we get into the questions here. Where was it?
Well, didn't we talk sometime last year about how much you'd have to make to live comfortable in Tampa? And it was like 120.
Yep. 150. Yeah. 115, 118, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah. And that was to live comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means, right? Jonathan said, had to downsize to getting roommate arrangements to combat costs and save. Yeah. I've heard of people doing that, man. I don't think you're alone. And I know it's not inexpensive to live, like I said, anywhere, but especially in Pinellas, man. If you want to, the closer to the beach you get, the more expensive things become really quick. So thanks for sharing that. Where was it? Interesting. Joshua says, interesting. My brother lives in Pinellas County. Gas, groceries, shopping are similar to Central Ohio from what I've seen, aside from the touristy areas. And depends on where you live, right? So I think, Joshua, that's a great perspective. You know, sometimes we get lost in the sauce of, like, it's the old adage, right? Of you can't see the forest through the trees. You know, and this is specific to Tampa. This is the Tampa Bay Business Journal, so they're really going to talk about us. But, you know, Stacy and I have covered the cost of living across the country many times before. And, you know, obviously it can vary wildly depending on where you are, because it's not just a function of what things cost. It's also how much do you make, right? How much do you keep with taxes? Like, there's a lot of different factors that go into this, but it is important to know. Gas prices for me, I live in Pinellas County. Like, I pay the same as my in-laws pay up in Southeast Michigan, the Detroit area. They're here now, so we get to hear the real conversations about what's going on. But they're great. Groceries cost more. I know that for sure because we buy in both places. But thanks for sharing that, man. I think that's great. He says, Joshua, Columbus area. I'm in Cleveland, survival mode here with no mortgage or car payment. For person could get by on $15,000 to $2,000 a month. Okay, got it. So you guys are sharing what it's costing out there. So thank you for that. Joshua says, we'll be flying in next Wednesday to Tampa Bay. Going to touch base with Madison soon to get the list of areas to check it out. Awesome. Love that. That's good news. No worries, Keith. I know you type fast, my man. It's all good. I have typos as well, and I stutter and mumble. So, you know, you guys hang with me anyways. Love you too. Right. Yeah. So Jane says, how about Pasco County? Pasco County makes more than that. And I'll try to dig up a specific number on that, Jane. But the income is higher. So I'm guessing that's why it didn't make the list, because it wouldn't fall below that Alice status is large. But I'll see if I can dig out like all of the counties on the state. Usually they're pretty good about sharing that, but it wasn't in this article specifically. So we will get back into that for sure. Great question. All right, let me cover any ones that I didn't. Corey's in the house. Good evening. Says, hey, y'all. Corey tuning in from Seabus. Brian, Desi, Lobo, Denise, Vlad. Hope you're all well. I'm flying in Wednesday morning for a much needed getaway. Going to scope out some neighborhoods. List coming soon. Love it. Love it. Nick says, hello, Juan and Stacy. What's up, Nick? And of course, the cooks have chimed in. They're making sure that we know that it is a Taco Tuesday. Love that. And they are clearing out the house. Go to market on Friday. Congratulations, y'all. Yeah. They'll be making their way down to Lakewood Ranch before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. All right. We love you and apologize. Well, we love you too. They love you, Stacy. Let's just be real. Call it what it is, guys. You don't have to make me feel better about myself. All right. I appreciate that. I got kids.
I'm sure they're including you in that as well, Juan.
I go home to my little ones and they make me feel special. So I can get over my ego check after that. That's great. Love it. Nando's in the house. He says hello from New Jersey still. We're working on that. All right. Love that. All right. Let me get back to the question. Charles had a question, I think, about buying a second home and the interest rates on that. Stacy, what are we seeing with our clients right now who are on second homes? If it's an investment, it typically is much higher. If it's a second home, we typically don't see a higher rate, if any, right, Stacy?
I want to say yes, we do.
What's the difference? Here it is. Oh, here's this question. I need to text Shannon immediately.
Yeah,
Out the answer because I don't think that was the case last time I checked, and if they did, it was nominal. All right, but let's pull up some.
well, it's their down payment that definitely has to be higher. They have to have more money down, right?
Yep. Yes, typically it's more down payment. But let's pull up mortgage rates for today. Why are we not moving? So we've got.
We should have Shannon on here one night.
We will. That's what I said. I'll pull them. I'll do you guys a heavy, and I'm going to bring a mortgage professional on. I don't sell mortgages, so this is from a great website called Mortgage News Daily that tracks the numbers every day. This is a great resource. So I think first and foremost, the thing I could help you with right out of the rip, Charles, is check out this site. They've got a really cool free app if you want to get into it as well. But I love this website. It's great. Gives you the breakdown of what's going on. So 30-year fixed right now is 392. That's what it finished today at. 15-year fixed 625. I don't mess with ARMs. If you guys want to go that direction, you can. 30-year FHA is 633, and the VA was 635. Today's trend, whenever it's green, that means rates are typically going down. If it's in the middle, it doesn't really move a whole lot. And if it's red, it's usually negative news. All right. Now, why do I bring that up? Like, when you're putting down at least 20% on or 25% on a second home, usually the interest rates are going to be nominal, right? In terms of a difference, if any at all. Okay, you're not going to have to pay a private mortgage insurance on that, so that's going to be good. But I would expect you to be somewhere around that 7% range based upon what we see in the marketplace. Could be a little bit less, but it'd be right about there. It's the down payment, like Stacy said. They want to see skin in the game when it's a second property. When you're buying a second home, but I think you'll be in there. So if you're still planning on putting that 25% down, I think you'd be pretty good at 7%. I haven't seen anything higher than that recently. All right. More as far as mortgage news goes, I don't know when this thing's going to move. I think we're just steady Eddie because the other countries aren't buying our mortgage-backed securities currently, and we need that to happen. The Federal Reserve is playing coy right now. It's pretty clear. But we'll see. We'll see how that all turns out. But this is where you're at with today's rates, which are not inexpensive, y'all. Money is expensive today, just like living in Tampa, apparently. So keep that in mind. Yeah, unless you go new construction and they buy down the rate, right, Stacy?
Yeah, that's your steal of a deal right now.
Yeah, that's wild. So many people are choosing new construction because they pay down payment cost. They're paying all of our compensation and they're buying down interest rates. They are being very aggressive, very aggressive. It's hard for homeowners. Stacy, I had a local agent here, great agent. We love her. She's got 9 listings currently, and she said none of them are moving. She asked us if we have any buyers for her. So I know that can be stressful. It can be stressful for sure. But yeah, interest rates are tough. All right, let me get into some more of these questions. Pull this one down. Out of the way. Cool. All right. And then we've got, what was the other questions coming up? Yes, no homestead exemptions for second homes and usually 15-year loan. 15 is pretty aggressive. I see 30s there, but you will definitely not get a homestead exemption. That is for sure. Your taxes can increase depending on what county you're in, but they can increase up to 10% every year. It's a lot. And homeowners insurance usually costs a lot more too. So just keep that in mind. Those are things that you really want to pull into that. I wouldn't worry about the 0.2 of an interest rate point that you may see difference. I would worry much more about what is the average annual insurance rate going to cost you because it's a second home versus your primary. That's the thing you want to look into because that could be much more expensive on your monthly payment.
Why would the insurance be more on a second home?
The house is vacant for a period of time. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. If you're not there, there's more risk, right? There's more risk from theft. There's more risk from damage. There's more risk in general. So that's why.
Yeah.
Hurricane sneaks up in your house and you're not around there to take care of it. They factor all that in, right? That's the reality of it. So, but thanks for sharing on this. This is great, OG. Appreciate you. All right. Jane says new construction will get you on the back end with HOA and CDD rates. It absolutely could, right? It absolutely could. There are communities that are non CDD, which stands for Community Development District Fee, but they're few and far between. So he's not wrong on this. And HOA fees can be they vary all over the place. Sometimes you can get a lot for that money. Some people include internet and TV with that HOA fee, like the Lagoon communities. You know, for $120 a month, you're getting cable and internet. That's what it costs anyway. So like that's a wash. But the CDD fee being an additional $2,200 to $2,800 a year could be pretty expensive, depending on what your situation is, right? It's not just always about cost. Like this is the thing you have to take into consideration with when you're buying a property. Yes, everybody has a budget, right? Everybody has a budget, but what are you getting in return? If that doesn't line up with what you want and or need, that's when you have to make a pivot or make a different decision. Go non-HOA or non-CDD to try to make, you know, again, stretch your budget or whatever it is. But like a lot of people don't care about that. They love the amenities and they move in anyways, because that's why they keep building them. So but it's a great point. It's really worth discussing. All right. Jane says, I heard President Trump is asking the Federal Reserve to lower the interest. He's more than asking. He's doing it publicly, and we'll see what effect that has. You know, I think at this point everybody would love to see that. I think inflation numbers came in at the lowest they've been in a few years, and it was like 2.3% on the headline, and that's great news. But you know, they're still watching jobs and tariffs. I think with the relaxation of this thing with China this past Monday, that's going to take into effect. We'll see. I love the Fed Watch thing where they keep track of that and they start guesstimating when the next rate cut's going to be. You know, if things stay steady, I think you're going to see one in the next couple months for sure. But that doesn't reduce mortgage rates always, but it does help with credit cards in short term. So car loans, those types of things. But great. What other questions you guys got? I love this. Stacy, you said you had a story today.
Wow.
You said you had a story. I'd love to hear about this story.
Am I breaking up?
Yeah, a little bit. You got Storm out there?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, one of the questions we always get in our Zoom calls is about alligators, right? Like we live in Florida, we got alligators. And for the first 10 years that I've lived here, and I've told everyone on our Zoom calls, I have only one time have I seen an alligator outside of where it's supposed to be. They're at the retention pond where you expect them to be. And one time I saw a baby alligator crossing the road and everyone stopped to let it cross. Well, since I've moved to Epperson, since November, we've had several alligator incidences. My daughter, who lives in Murata, just 2 miles from me, they woke up last week and had some notifications on their security system that someone was.
Are they the ones that made YouTube last week?
I don't think they made YouTube.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, but they had notifications that someone was in their driveway. So they're looking back at the video, and the cops were in their driveway because there was an 8-foot alligator right next to my daughter's car. Oh, and a neighbor was walking their dog that early in the morning, like at 5:30, and saw it there and then called the cops. I was like, what? That's
wild.
That's crazy.
There was an Instagram video that went viral last week of 2 alligators on somebody's front porch, and their ring notified them, and then the gator was like climbing the front door.
I did see that.
Brian sent me the video. Brian cooked it. He said, what you guys consider this DoorDash in Florida?
wild to me. And I was walking my dog yesterday in the afternoon, and one of the neighbors came out just like 4 doors down from me and was like, I came out here yesterday and there was an alligator right here on the golf cart trail. It's like, which I don't know why I'd be surprised, because I do back up to a retention pond, wetland.
Oh, Stacy just got disconnected. Welcome to the internet. Did her
I have them out and about.
That is not fun.
It is, no, and it's mating season, everyone. So they are on the move, which is probably why you're seeing a lot of stuff on social media.
You got everybody all hyped up now. They're like, that's it. Can't do it. So scary out there. No way we're coming. The alligators are real. Here it is. I'm gonna find it. Brian, I'm trying to get to the video because Brian shared it.
So
here it is.
You know, when you do go outside, you know, at dawn or dusk, you need to be paying attention. Like, they can be in the yard, they can be under your car, they can be in the storm drains.
Do you see this right now? It's wild.
I cannot see it.
Oh,
I don't
it's
see
not
it.
here.
No.
What's happening? All right, let me pull this up. Here we go.
That is so
I mean, he was ringing the doorbell.
crazy.
Now, I love the fact that, like, first of all, I just got to say, shout out to Stacy for being transparent. Everybody wants to know this question, man. Like, this is the thing. Now, I've been very fortunate. I mean, I guess there's 2 ways to look at this. My house got wet, but I've never had an alligator run across my front yard or porch or anything like that. So, like, I think we're doing pretty good. But we live right by the Gulf, so like we just don't have as many typically. Yeah. That's wild. But like, this is, Brian sent this. He says, "What is this, DoorDash in Florida?" I'm like, dude, that is great. Such a good video. Let me I'm gonna grab this clip and send it to the whole community here so you guys can share this wildly with your family members who are like, you should never move to Florida because it's nothing but alligators down there. And you're like, I got you.
Yeah, and I recently told showing a house how I walked out on the lanai and there was an alligator like 10 feet away.
Yep.
And just totally blended in with the grass and the pond, and I didn't see him at first. It scared us to death. But I hadn't seen one, I mean, in 10 years. And all of a sudden.
I love this comment. OG says, "Oh my God, it's Wix." Had his pub sub and flip phone out for that one. I agree, my man. I agree. If you guys are not following "Oh my God, it's Wix" on Instagram or TikTok, you have to do that. That guy is great. Every Florida like joke, he lives it. It's awesome. Definitely worth checking out. You'll love it. That's a great comment. Here's some new news. B says, apparently there's a new Raising Cane's going up in Largo Mall. I did read that today too. I didn't see it was going up in Largo Mall. So shout out to the share there. I love that. Here goes Nando says, not helping my cause, Stacy. I knew some of you were going to be traumatized, but like, yo, this is real, right? Like, we live in Florida. There are things like, you know, it was funny. Kate and I were on our walk today, and we walked out of the house, and it was super sunny, and it's starting to become summer. So anybody who knows anything about summer in Florida means that it's going to rain whenever it feels like it. And we started walking. The sun was shining. Cloud was coming in off the Gulf, and we both looked over. We're like, well, we're going to get wet. The question is, how wet? So we're walking. My father-in-law comes on his bike. He had rode a bunch of miles this morning. And we made it around the corner. And it started raining. It started raining harder. And Kate's already lost a phone due to rain and running. So we were like, all right, called it after a mile, went back. 25 minutes later, it probably rained an inch, and then it was sunshine as usual, and we were right back out to it. So it's just wild how quickly the weather can change. And the other thing that's been great about it too is all the flowers have been out. Mm-hmm. Flowers have just been all over the place. It's been beautiful. I love that. But I love this. Nando says, not helping the cause. Sorry, my friend. do better next time, I promise. Nick Stendel says, Nick says, is Florida like Grand Theft Auto 6? Kid, I haven't played Grand Theft Auto since like Grand Theft Auto 2, Nick. I don't know, like so terrible. I think that's South Florida you're thinking of. That's Miami, Fort Lauderdale for sure. So I love that. What did Jane says? I know for sure we're having an alligator in the back of our house in Land O'Lakes. Not looking forward to that. Yeah, you're living on the lake. Right? Like those are neighbors. That's the reality of what is happening there. Like they are neighbors and they have been there longer than us. So that is like, I think we're their neighbors is
yeah.
But like, don't feed them. This is what you need to know. Don't feed them. I don't care what anybody tells you. Don't do that. They're not cats.
No, that's bad news. And I heard if they're not scared of you, then that means someone's been feeding them.
Yes. And that's a bad deal. Jane says, at least we have a cage around the pool in our backyard, but we have a pond across our house. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. These conversations are hilarious. So, y'all, we have talked a lot about, what is happening here in the area. Last week's video was talking about, home prices being on sale. Like we're still seeing downward pressure in the marketplace, but we do have some really good opportunities here in the area. And we've got a couple. I know Stacy's got a home in Sea Air. Did that get leased?
No, but if you're looking for a rental, please call me because I got a brand new fabulous house ready to rent.
Yeah. So she's got a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
2.5 bath.
Yep. That is for lease on the lagoon. Let me pull this up here.
Yep, and he just fenced in the backyard, so it's fenced.
Yeah, that's cool. What's the address, Stacy?
9023 Bayleaf Drive, South. Bayleaf.
Oh man, it's not pulling up. Well, why don't you describe it while I'm digging this up?
All the bedrooms are upstairs. The half bath is downstairs. It's got a really nice big open floor plan with the kitchen, the family room, and the seating or kitchenette area. Really nice size lanai out on the back, so you can put a grill and some chairs out there. Plenty of room. The backyard is huge.
Yep.
And like I said, it's fenced in, so plenty of room for the kids to go out there and play. If you have dogs, plenty of room for the dogs to go out there and run around. Should be safe. No alligators out in that backyard. There's no water.
Yeah, it's a nice place. In a lagoon community.
Upstairs.
This is now fenced in back here.
Yes, completely fenced.
Bonus landing area. Huge yard. Massive. And it covered lanai. So this is an example of what you can find in the area here. And once that lagoon goes live, what's the date on that, Stacy?
They're saying Q1 of next year.
Okay.
And I was just out there today, actually, and they are moving dirt for the lagoon. So
yep,
it's in the works.
Yeah. Well, and that's something to take note of, but like it's a good opportunity for anybody looking to relocate to the area. We always like to share when our clients have something listed, and this is a great one. Also, we have another property coming to the market. It will go live tomorrow. I shared it on my socials today, and it's phenomenal. Definitely wanted to make sure I make point of that. It's in the Ozona neighborhood. Let me show you where it is, y'all. I think this is important. This is great.
And it is a beautiful, it makes you feel like it's just that typical beach. It's not on the beach, but it's very beachy feel.
Yes. Coastal, to say the least, is the way that I would describe that. And it's in Palm Harbor, which has excellent schools, by the way. So this is something to take note of. It's in the Ozona neighborhood, which hopefully y'all can see this here. Am I sharing the screen, Stace?
No, can't see it.
Goodness gracious, Juan. Always jacking it up. There we go. You should have it now, right?
Nope.
You see it?
No.
Okay. Well, I see it on the screen. So it's in the Ozona neighborhood, y'all. hopefully you guys can see that. Let us know in the chat. I think we're having some internet issues across the board here, so just want to make sure that we're still dialed in. Let us know in the chat right now if you can see the Google Maps, because Stacy's saying she can't. I can clearly see it. Just want to make sure we're good. Yep. Okay. He says we're good. All right. I'm not losing my mind. Thank you for that. I do often just run wild, and she has to reel me in. So wanted to make sure I got that dialed in. But let me show you where this house is, y'all. And this will go live on our website. If you're on our email list, you're going to get the actual YouTube video of this when it goes live tomorrow as well. I'm going to email this out, but look, check this out tomorrow because it's definitely worth it. This is the Ozona neighborhood here. Just a stunning neighborhood and a great opportunity in terms of housing. They are on the north end over here in this Sound, right off the streets over here. It's a street called Sound View. I mean, you're literally at Pop Standstill Park. You can walk to downtown on the breweries. The marina's right around the corner. I mean, this place is unreal. So excited for our clients here. They've done such a wonderful job of taking care of this home. Pool house, and you can walk right out, put your kayak into the Sound here. This is the Sound. And just kayak around the Sound, have a good time. Or you can just literally take your golf cart over to Pop Standstill, which is 2 blocks over, and then drop your canoe inside of the Gulf there and just go wild. It's a great opportunity, a great property, great neighborhood. It's one of my favorites. I love Ozona. When I first moved here, I went to Pop Standstill a few times. Stansel, sorry. And I took video. My first Palm Harbor video I ever made for this channel was in that park and in the downtown area. It's really cool. It's just a laid back spot to go hang out and have a great time. And it's awesome. And love seeing stuff like that. So we're excited to share that with you guys. Look out for that tomorrow. That property. Courts Adventure says we have a meeting with you guys on the 31st, coming to visit in June to find communities we'd like to live in. Also can see the map. Thank you. That's great. And Court, I think it's Courtney, right? So we're excited to meet with you guys. And if you want to meet with us, feel free to make the connection. All of our contact information is in the description of this video later. However, if you guys want that now, let me give it to you. You can go to True Living Group or that Tampa Life, and that'll get you there. But I'm going to put it in the chat so everybody has access to that. You can schedule a time on our calendar to meet with us. If you want to meet with Stacy specifically, because she's amazing, and why wouldn't you? Just make sure you ask for her in the comment section. That calendar goes to me and Charlene and gives you access to the team. So if you have questions, guys, don't hesitate to take us up on that. Not everybody we meet with moves, right, Stacy? I mean, it's very like a lot of people are exploring this as an option. They may be exploring this in another city, but we want to offer this to you. Like we're not a high pressure sales team. We're here to help people live out their dreams. Stacy moved here almost 11 years ago. I moved here almost 7 years ago now. And, you know, we've seen the gambit already, and we love living here, and we love helping other families and other people do it too. So if that's something that interests you, please feel free to take us up on it, y'all. We don't just say that as lip service. We genuinely want to help. So you guys can go to thattampalife.com /contact, and it'll get you to it. Or you can just text that number directly, and that'll send you right over to the cell phone and make that connection too. But y'all, I don't have to keep you guys all evening. So we've got more news coming up. If you guys have more questions, we're here to answer them. If not, we'll look at you get back to your Taco Tuesday, because I'm going to go slam one after this. Can't wait to get me a nice spicy taco, some Cholula on top, a little bit of guac, you know, like do it up, do it right. Stacy, are you guac or no guac?
I love guac. Yeah. But I thought we need to do like the best taco place in Tampa. Can you not hear me?
No, I can. I was waving goodbye to Jane.
Oh.
Just the painters were there. I wanted to make sure we said goodbye. But absolutely. Yes, the taco shootout, we can do that, right?
Yeah.
So Stacy, last weekend, I think I shared with you guys, I went to the Barbecue Love Fest, which is hosted by the Brisket Shop downtown Tampa. And that was an excellent day. I got to take my in-laws and the kids, and, you know, you get a wooden token when you walk in, And you have to give that token to, well, you don't have to, but you can give that token to one of the barbecue pit masters. And there was like 25 of them. And
wow.
Yeah, you got to test it all, which is so hard, y'all, to just have a little bite when something's so good and you're like, I have 20 more to get to. All right. But it's a really cool event. And then the kids got to give their tokens to the pit masters that they loved, and they had a great time. So that was awesome. But to Stacy's point, we definitely need to do this on the taco front.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am here for it. Nobody's going to be mad at tacos. So maybe we should bring them into the studio, Stacy, and stack them up and like have everybody vote on it. I'm here for it for sure.
Well, we should have a party. You know how we were going to do a beach party? We should do like a Taco Tuesday.
Taco buses. Yeah, let's do that. I love it. Yeah. Sebastian, go ahead. Call it off, man. We're here for you guys. We got till 8 every night, every Tuesday night. So we're happy to answer any questions you have. So feel free to rip it off. He says, I'm in New Jersey thinking about pulling the trigger to move to Tampa Bay. And I'm noticing listings that sold a year ago or a year or two ago, and now they're putting listings again. Any thought why that's happening? Yeah, couple reasons why that's happening. There are people who relocated to the area that got called back to work who were working remote. That's one thing that's happening. There are people who moved to the area who found out that they don't actually like the sun. that happens every single year to people. And there are just other reasons why people move, right? Death, divorce, illness. There's a whole bunch of other reasons why people move as well. But I will say this, Stacy and I talk about this all the time. A lot of the times I don't think people get great guidance. And what I mean by that is like, y'all, houses are easy. And what I mean by they're easy is like, I can get you 4 walls and a roof anywhere in this country, right? Mm-hmm. We can. It's not hard to do, right, Stacy? But like, just because a house is beautiful doesn't mean the neighborhood is going to support your ideal lifestyle. And ultimately, I think people make bigger mistakes on communities than they do houses. And why I believe that is because, Sebastian, like if I gave you, and if you have a significant other, if we gave you each $3 million and let you design your dream home and put it in the wrong neighborhood, you'd end up hating the house. And a lot of people they don't community shop. They house shop, but they don't community shop. And something that I learned, is that is probably the most important part. I say it is. I know a lot of people think for the houses. I understand both are valuable, but it is like 1 and 1A. Mm-hmm. They go hand in hand, man. Like one does not work without the other. So before pulling the trigger, what I would encourage you to do is make sure you're doing quality research, and we're happy to help you with that. So reach out to us, but take time to do some community shopping. Just because you came here on a vacation one time does not mean that this is the best place for you to live. And that's the thing that you really have to kind of keep in perspective, but we're happy to help you through that process. That's what I think we do best. I share this with our clients, and this will be my 14th year in the business in real estate in July. And in 14 years, I've never had, or 13 and 3/4, I've never had to move a client twice. All right. So I'm very proud of that. And Stacy's part of that, by the way. So we are proud of that, right? So that is a huge win, and it's something that we don't take lightly. Okay, so really explore the communities, understand what you're trying to accomplish from a lifestyle perspective, because most people move to Florida to get outside of their house, right? And you got to nail that. So hopefully that helps, man. Hopefully that helps. He says he's looking at
shopping. Sorry, I was going to say the community shopping is the biggest thing, and that's what we do is we kind of help you narrow down areas so it doesn't take so long for you to explore. You don't have to explore the whole state of Florida.
Yep. Yeah, definitely help you narrow it down. He says looking at loots due to schools and etc. That's a good area just to target. Lots of opportunity in that area for education and for lifestyle. So definitely sounds like you're doing some good research to start. Understood, appreciate it. It's a little bit alarming, hence the question. Understood. Yeah, man, there's a lot going on. And I mean, we've talked about taxes on here, and thank you for the question, Sebastian. But like we've talked a lot about, with the 63% increase in housing prices, it's also raised taxes, and seniors who are living on a fixed income that came down here 25 years ago are being pushed out. There's some difficulties, you know, in our market, very similar to New Jersey, where, I mean, New Jersey is not a big state. You guys are the most densely populated state in the entire country per square mile, and they don't make new homes up there. So, you know, I know the market challenges up there. Jersey's wild. So you guys are probably feeling that too. And if I remember correctly, you don't have capped property taxes. So I can't imagine what that's like. But a lot of our seniors here are on fixed incomes or retire, you know, so like it can be a challenge. So this is something that we're working on as a state right now. The governor's trying to get property taxes eliminated. And if that happens, oh my goodness, it's going to be 2021 all over again down here. So I'm very intrigued to see how this shakes out. Court says, this is exactly why I'm going with you guys. We made the mistake where we lived 2 years ago and we have a property, but we are unhappy with the community and where we are. Thank you, Courtney. This is the magic, man. I'm telling you right now. And there's no guarantees, y'all, but like you can do really good research for yourself. And as long as you got a guide to help you through the process, right? That's what we explain to all of our clients. We're here to be a guide. You're the heroes of the journey, but we're going to tell you like, hey, that does not align with what you told us you were looking for. And that's the real benefit of what you get. Obviously, we can negotiate contracts and everything, but like knowing who, you know, those neighborhoods were created for and what type of lifestyle they support, that's the real expertise that Stacy has, that our team has, that we're really proud of. Right. So, yeah. And Franklin says location, location, location for sure, my man. Right. There is no doubt about that. Ollie says, will I qualify first for a first-time home buyer if I'm on a deed to a home that my husband purchased before marriage? Allie. Will I qualify for a first-time home buyer? If you're currently on the deed, no. It's 3 years. You have to be off of a deed for 3 years to qualify as first-time home buyer. Okay, so just have a heads up on that. There could have been a modification of mortgage. Again, I don't sell mortgages, but the last time I had this situation come up with a client, it was 3 years. Okay, so just kind of look at that. And not quite sure why that's important. You can get an FHA mortgage if that's what you're asking about, regardless of whether you're first time or not. But if you're looking for a first-time home buyer program that, you know, has some funds that they're loaning you for down payment or gifting you, then that will matter. But that, you know, we can get you to Shannon, our lender. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out, Allie. But great question. That is a great technical question that most people don't face, but you're savvy, the fact that you already know that. Randall says, I can see it. Thank you, Randall, for letting me know. Sebastian says, we'll reach out to you guys once we make up our mind. Yep, I was thinking about renting either 1 year or a month to midsummer to see how it is. Okay, got it. And then he said, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Carol says, sounds promising, Keith. Love that. What did Keith say? He said, here in Ohio, we may follow. A constitutional amendment to eliminate property taxes just moved one step closer. I really think that this is going to be a talking point from a lot of politicians right now, because the cost of living is wild everywhere, like we said. You know, we talked about Tampa, but it's not just there. So, yeah, that's why it sounds promising for sure. Alligator, sad face. Don't give sad face yet, Allie. We'll figure out what reach out. Just send me an email, you know, info@, True Living Group, or text there. I'll connect you to our lender and she will give you the 100% accurate information. I'm giving you what I know based upon my last experience with this specific situation. I don't know what your situation is, but I want to make sure that you get it answered. So great question. He says, nope, I just wanted the benefits of purchasing my first home. Understood. Okay. All right. Sebastian says, for example, I noticed when a home closed in 22, pre-closing taxes were $2,000. A year later, post-closing, home got recessed at $100. Yes, this is exactly what. This makes Stacy and I crazy. All right. This makes us crazy. Let me explain. And better yet, Stacy, can you explain to Sebastian why this happens to people?
Yes, it happens to a lot of people because it's new construction you're looking at. So you're going in and they're only taxing the land and not the house. So you're going in unrepresented, then sometimes they don't take those taxes into consideration when they're trying to get approved for the purchase. So that's why it's important to have representation, to make sure that all those are looking good and making sure you're prepared for that next year, because our property taxes are paid in arrears. Mm-hmm. So it'll be November this year when the tax bills go out.
Yep. Yeah. And he asked, will it happen 10 out of 10 times? So here's what will happen 10 out of 10 times. If a home builder starts a home and the taxes on it are below the median tax value of the property, it is absolutely going to happen 10 out of 10 times. So what do we mean by that? All right. If you're buying a home for $400,000, I'll just give you the regular example. If you buy a new construction home at $400,000, the year before, the property taxes were only $2,000, like the example that Sebastian's giving, right? Well, what we know is that taxes in new construction developments in Tampa Bay, they are assessed at approximately, I'm going to go conservative, which means like the highest number possible. They are assessed at approximately 1.8% of the assessed value. And the year you buy the home, they're going to assess the value at what you bought the home for, right? So if you buy a $400,000 house and you multiply that times 1.8, so let's just take that number, 400,000. I should do this live on the screen here. You also forgive me. 400,000 times 0.018. That gives you an annual tax bill of $7,200. Okay, so to your point, 150, but it should have never been only $2,200 taken from you, the home buyer, to pay for taxes that year. That happened because either the agent didn't have the wherewithal to look at their client's tax bill and know that they were about to get shafted that year, or the home buyer went directly to the home builder and thought that they were getting a deal. Mm-hmm. And because they didn't have counsel or somebody there to help them through that process who recognizes those things, they got themselves in trouble. And then they had to pay the back taxes, and then their payment went up because they have to fund it for next year. So don't get yourself in that situation. If you walk into a situation where you have new construction and you don't have representation, you're already in dangerous territory. The builder works for them. However, I get there's a whole bunch of people that think they're going to save a bunch of money. You better look at that tax number. That tax number needs to be 1.8 of at least what you're paying for it. Yes, you'll get a homestead exemption and everything, but if you set your mind there and put that in escrow, at the end of the year, they'll probably call you and say, hey, you're overfunded by $500, as opposed to you're underfunded by $5,500. Mm-hmm. So that is what you need to know about this specific situation. Do not let somebody who doesn't know their stuff or somebody who's trying to sell you on something walk you into a time bomb, because that's what that is, right? The property is not worth $2,000 in taxes. It's worth $7,200 in taxes because there's a home on it. I know we got way in the weeds on that, y'all. Got way in the weeds on that, but like this makes Stacy and I crazy.
Yeah, because there's so many benefits to having representation for new construction. Like this is just one example. But sometimes things go wrong in inspections, appraisals. I mean, at the last minute, you can find something wrong with the house, and once you sign that contract, you're locked in. Like, you can't really get out of that contract. But if you have an agent there to negotiate for you, you can get some things done.
Yep,
for sure.
Yeah, great point, Stacy. This is a good question. Nando says, how long does it take to qualify for the homestead? But your internet's dying today, isn't it? Y'all pray for Stacy's internet.
Here I'm in one of those ultra Wi-Fi communities.
That's hilarious. The homestead exemption. Yep, go ahead.
Apply by March of the next year. Mm-hmm. You have to apply. Yeah. So you get your deed within 30 days after closing. And once you get that deed, then you can apply. It's really easy. You can do it online.
Yeah. So the short version, Nando, because I know she was breaking up there a little bit, is once you close your property and the deed is recorded, you can go apply for it then at the county, a tax assessor. You can do it online. They're super simple to do, and you will get your tax benefit. Once you are, but you have to become a Florida resident. That is part of it, right? So you have to have a Florida driver's license, those types of things too. You can't just own a home here. It has to be your primary residence. So on your tax bill, you'll see that benefit, which is a $50,000 reduction off of the assessed value for a married couple and $25,000 off the assessed value for a single individual. So going back to our other example of $400,000, if Sebastian is married, him and his wife would, if that home was worth $400,000, they would be assessed at $350,000. So you would multiply 350 times 1.8, and then that would be your conservative number. So hopefully that helps too, guys, just kind of like thinking through everything in real time here. All right, Sebastian, last one. I love it, dude. It's okay. This is what we're here for this, right? To answer questions like this. Excluding new construction, will that apply to older homes as well? 1.8 crust? No, it will not. It's going to vary, depend on the county, the city, a lot of different variances that, like where I live in Pinellas County in Largo, our tax rate is 1.42. It's one of the highest in Pinellas County, but I don't have really nice new amenities like they have out in West Chapel and Land O'Lakes and all those areas. So that you're paying for part of that taxation to keep those things up. But it varies all over the place. But what I will say is this: for peace of mind, don't ever do anything less than 1.5% of the value, and you will absolutely be reassessed at the new purchase price, and then multiply that times your tax. So, you know, if you're looking at somebody, the easiest way to guard yourself against this, guys, is stop looking at someone else's tax history. Right? I know we can see it, but unless they just bought the home last year or in the last two, that's not going to be a good representation of what taxes are going to cost you. Okay. If somebody bought a home 20 years ago, throw that out the window. It has nothing to do, because they bought that house for 80 grand. And the Florida can only increase your sales, your property taxes at the rate of inflation or 3% maximum, Sebastian. I know you guys are uncapped in New Jersey, right? 3 years annually. That's the most they can increase it. And forever, inflation was down at 2.2%. So it wasn't going up more than 2% annually. It didn't matter what the property values went up. Okay, so like that is a variance there. So just throw it out the window. Don't look at other people's tax history. Take what we're about to pay for that home, multiply it. Like I said, if you're buying new construction out in the burbs, 1.8, that is a conservative number. I know it's high, but I would rather you come to me and Stacy and be like, you guys were wrong. It was $500 less than me throwing out 1.3 at you or 1.4 where I live, and then all of a sudden it's $1,200 more annually. All right, so just think through that. Like I said, 1.5 if you're buying older properties near the coast, I think is probably fair. And in the newer construction developments, we're basically seeing 1.8, 1.7 to 1.8, pretty average. I think that's the way to go. And what do you say last? Okay, awesome. Got the master class on that. People are like, God, what are we talking about? Yeah. But this is it, man. Like, this is the kind of stuff that just gets people in trouble. Like, I hate seeing that. You should know what it's going to cost you to own a property, because it's not as simple as like seeing what it is, right? Nando says 30% increase this year for 37%. Nando lives in New Jersey, y'all.
Whoa.
37%? Like,
that's insane.
I can't even. This is why Connie's gonna, yep, this is why Connie's gonna put a leash on one of those gators. Listen, Connie, we got you. I don't know what we're gonna do. That is crazy talk. That doesn't even, oh my God, I can't even see straight. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Holy cow. Franklin says, can you make sure that the New Jersey market stays strong so I can sell with him and start enjoying the weather? Right? I'll do my best. I mean, Nando's doing his best. He's playing his part. They are looking to sell their house. Get out of that thing too. Unfortunately, New Jersey market is slowing back down to normal. Oh man, hopefully. All right. Well, we'll see this. Gator tacos. I love it. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. All right. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go home, see the family. You guys are amazing. Thanks for hanging out with us as always. If you want to connect with us, information's on the screen. Link to our calendars right in the conversation there. Hop on a Zoom call, ask your questions, guys. We're here to help. Like I said, not everybody makes the decision to come, but we love helping the people that do. We're here to serve them. Look out for this house in Palm Harbor tomorrow on Soundview. I'm telling you guys, if you are like me and you need to be by the water, you need to take a look at this house. You guys know I don't usually come on here and talk, promote our listings and go crazy about it. But like, first of all, if you need that rental, we got one in Parrish. I think that is a great opportunity for anybody looking for a new home to rent. If you're somebody who's not sure and you want to just test the waters, that's a great spot. And then this house in Soundview is just absolutely going to be amazing. So make sure you guys check that out. Stacy, we say it every single week. Go out
and live that Tampa life.
Y'all have a great weekend.